about. Trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist. Am I worth anything or just a discount? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
That was great sounds of Watson Without Sound on WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. I am with my partner in crime, the one and only Long Island Rays, Elm City, Maine, Mr. EZ BlueZ. Easy BlueZ, who do we have with us again on the program today? Go right ahead. You're always better with introductions more than me.
It is always fantastic to see someone who can live, breathe, and just completely facilitate art as a whole. When you have that as your personality, when you have that as the direction in which you're going in, no matter what avenue you're in, whether you are in the kitchen, whether you are in the studio, whether you are in the back offices, great, getting the negotiations there set and squared away, all of it is art. And it is such an honor and a privilege to have with us today one of the most incredible human beings we have seen in a long time. This man is not just creative. He's so creative that he is the CEO and a doctor in creativity. I would like you to hear the CEO and PhD of creativity is with us today. Dr. Kreative is in the building.
Hey,
Yeah,
y'all.
man.
Thank you for that intro. That was so kind. Just come on smiling.
Of course. Well, first and foremost, I love anyone who is going to be like living and breathing in the different art spaces that need to go through. I feel that it is one of the most important things. I've always felt that as the art scene thrives, then you'll see culture thrive. Yeah. And that's always been a big thing for me. So I love when people are fully immersed in the art scene. But we've got something special to talk about today, actually.
Yeah.
Today, not only have you all doing all this backstage stuff and all this incredible stuff, but you're actually put together a cookbook.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I did. It's the name of the book is Kreative Cookbook with a K, just like my name, Dr. Kreative. And the cookbook came along randomly because I was in a competition for the Food Network, and it's called Favorite Chef. And it came by surprise because a friend of mine was like, "Oh, you should do this." Not very limited people knew that I can cook. And so I started doing it online, and I ended up building a really large following on TikTok. And what it looked like was that I would randomly just buy stuff from the grocery store, get on live, and then we would decide on what we're making that night. Nice. So I would write down the recipes as we're going, or people would screenshot what I'm doing and like inbox me. You use this measurement, and then they'll name the dishes. And so in the book, it's a collaboration of people from TikTok, family members' recipes put together. And in the book, what makes it so special is that not only do you have pictures and you have language that you'll understand. So it's not a whole bunch of like terminology that's hard for the layperson to understand. It's basically like me talking. So I have different phrases that family members uses, and I give definition of those. And also there's a part on almost every page that allows you to take notes and write down what you use, what you did not use, and what you added. Because as a cook, I believe that cooking is creativity as well as considered art. Right. And so adding on to that, you want to be able to pass this book from your generation to the next generation so that they can have that. Because sometimes I feel like as we get older, we're starting to lose the people that we call Big Mama or Nana. Like the people back in the day, my grandmother would never wear a mini skirt. My grandmother wore a muumuu and she cooked. And her arms did this when she cooked. That's how the food's going to be good. Right. So trying to figure out how to preserve those old school traditions while also reinventing it to be something that people of my generation can pass on.
I think that's one of the most incredible things, and I love the fact that this entire process has been interactive. Like you said, you started out on TikTok, and would plan out the dinners with the people that were following you, and all those stuff. And that's where this book came from. And I love the fact that you have the spots in there where people can write in there their own little aspect of there. Like, yeah, this with just an extra dash of paprika will really make your eyes pop out your face. Or those different type of things. So you can then pass it down from generation to generation to generation. Yeah. That is something that, yes, we have lost a lot of sight of. Just being in the 15-second attention span generations that we have right now, and we get it. This is the way social media has programmed us, and we're doing what we need to do. It is what it is. What it is. All we can do is try to figure out our ways to get through there and to fully live our full art self through those type of aspects. And I love the fact that you are multimedia when it comes down to have the cookbook aspect of it, but you also have the fact that you were a creative personality on TikTok, or content creator, as they like to say.
I know, right? Isn't that so weird? I've never
content creator. Yeah. I was like, when I dabbled in content creation, they're like, you're a content creator. I was like, I just go on and talk about me.
Yeah.
I'm not creating anything. I'm just literally venting. And people are like, well, that's a creation. I was like, okay, cool. I appreciate the title. I've been called many things in my life.
I had to get comfortable with that phrase because I come from a professional world of entertainment. Mm-hmm. So hearing the phrase content creator, I'm like, I just love what I do. I'm a creator, and titles scare me. But I mean, it's reality. Whatever it takes to make a bigger impact on the art. If you haven't noticed, whatever my track record is, it always has to do with giving back to a community in which I grew up in, giving back to community, knowing that there's no limits on what it is you can do. So yeah, I can sing, I can play drums, I can produce, I can manage artists, I can put on major productions, but nothing limits me and puts me in a box. If I have a talent, I want to be able to share it. And I think that that's what my overall goal is.
And I love that, because especially when it seems like we're going into a recreation of the 80s, and it's the me culture coming back through. And, as long as I'm making money, that's all that matters type of aspects we're starting to see. To have that, I'm not here to just rise. I don't want to be a boat that rises on the tide. I want to be the tide that rises all boats.
For sure.
And I think that's one of the most remarkable things about you and about your personality. I remember, whether we're at the Mac, for an art display type of thing, or we're just sitting and chilling, or one point in time we are going to come into your offices. I promise.
Come on.
Look, busy. Things get busy sometimes. We got stuff to do. Life gets in the way. But we're moving and shaking. We're definitely going to do that. We might even because what we're starting to do now is we're starting to take some like road shows kind of thing and put in some footage and stuff, put that together, and might even be a full episode. Who knows? Could be weird.
All right, I love that elevation, man.
Yeah, exactly. But this is how do you, especially now, and again, we won't 100% dive into the political realm of the nonsense. Yes. But I would like to say, representation is so super important, and how are you continuing to fight to make sure that you are represented and being and representing and when a time where literally there are being orders written to write that representation away.
Okay, you going there, and it's funny. I wanted to talk about this. Okay? And I was going to actually go live with a friend of mine because it's been on my heart. So I'll give you a little bit.
Good.
I like to live in reality. It's going to be really, really hard to press forward, right?
Yeah.
The things that were put in place to lift up a nation are being taken away. So it's not a gay straight thing. It's not a black-white thing, Latin, yellow, whatever. It's not that kind. It's everybody's going to be infected. And also right now they're being affected. So it can, for my community in which I identify with the most, which is the LGBTQ, as well as my Black brothers and sisters, it's scary because we don't know what the outcome is truly going to be. Right. And so how I fight that is by spreading awareness with talking about it. Something that our forefathers did back in the day that we are too much of a punk to do today is make a noise. What the heck? Go out, say that this is not right.
Right.
Come together. It's not about black and white separating. We can come together and fight what's right. Because we don't often talk about it, but the civil rights movement, the marches, were not just black people there. Everybody was there fighting for a cause.
Yes.
Right? And so we have to start early, start now. We're not at a place where we feel like we're underprivileged because our forefathers, yeah, maybe they didn't have the education. Maybe they didn't have the resources and the money that we have now. But the beauty about it is that we have that now. And what they had that we didn't have is, I don't care, I'm going to fight until it's done.
Mm-hmm.
We love to be quiet and sit in the background. Oh, this ain't got nothing to do with me as long as I get my check.
Yeah.
That check baby's going to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because by the time, if I see whites only or whatever, that would drive, I'm moving to Ghana because it's too much. So for me, how I fight it is by spreading the word and talking about it. So even in platforms like this, I appreciate y'all for even asking that question.
Of course.
And you know I talk too much, so tell me I can be quiet.
No. One, when it comes down to something like this, I'm never going to tell you to be quiet. I'm going to say it. Say it loud or say it with your whole chest.
Because y'all know I talk, and I feel like people are scared they won't get jobs, they won't have opportunities, people are going to be blacklisted. Mm-hmm. So what? Do what's right. The more people that do it,
we already don't have that job. Let's be real. We already don't have that job. No. We already don't, those people already don't talk to us.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of people that love to jump on the Book of Face and jump in the comment section and tell everybody how mean and twisted I am and how, because I'm a left-leaning, blah, 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 that I'm a horrible human being. Yep. And that's fine, because you want to know something? I know everybody close to me knows what I'm actually about.
Yeah.
I understands who I actually am, lives and breathes the same type of reality I do. And again, I'm affected as a cis white male. Mm-hmm. This affects me. Yep. This affects my daughter. This affects, everything that you start to see. So anytime that I have anybody on here, I want them to speak their mind and speak with their whole heart, because this is your platform. This is the time to say these type of things. And, anyone who's going to be blacklisted for it, you were already blacklisted, if we're being real.
Oh, trust me, that's a real thing. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Cheers.
You learn every day, regardless of what you do, everything's always been a risk. But what is a person who's not a risk taker, whatever they ever been? Anybody who is a millionaire or very prominent in their career, it was a risk to go to school, it was a risk to stand out, it was a risk to be yourself, it was a risk to take that test to get your law degree. Everything's a risk. So take the risk and fight for what's right.
Exactly. Now, I want to get into the favorite children aspect of it now. I'm going to bring it back to the book. The cookbook. What is your favorite recipe in the book? And what is the one that when we get the book, we got to star and it'd be the first meal that you make? Like, never had the book before, didn't sit down and do the TikTok aspect of it. You're going to pitch me on this one recipe.
Oh my God.
I wish we had the license to the Jeopardy music.
Nobody has asked me that question, so good job, Easy.
Thank you. Thank
you. I'm never stumped because I can talk.
I know.
Let's see. Okay. Can I say two, please?
You can say 2, 3, 4, 5. You can say all your favorites. You can say the ones that stand out to you.
Okay, great. Mm-hmm. So my favorite thing to really do is bake.
Okay, cool.
That's my favorite thing to do. And so I would say my homemade apple cheesecake. That sounds freaking amazing. I've been told it's better than the Cheesecake Factory. I should be charging at the door for that cheesecake because the quality, the texture of the cheesecake is thick, but it's not too hard. You can cut into it and get a slice with no drippings on it. Like, it's amazing. For it to be a homemade cheesecake, and everything's from scratch. The beautiful thing about my book is that I use homemade sauces, homemade everything. I wanted to do it. That was the only thing. I want to do everything from scratch. So I made the crust from scratch, the filling from scratch, no box, anything. Everything, I teach you how to do it with your hands so that you can know how to survive if something goes out of business or if you don't have access to stuff. That's why I wanted to do everything by scratch. And then the other thing that I did that I thought was pretty cool that I think tastes so good, it's like a jerked fried chicken. I called it 24 karat gold. That's not the name of the book, but it's a 24 karat gold fried wing. So you remember when those was like really popular, like the gold wings, the gold sandwiches? Yep. And I remember making that for my sister, and it was so good. So how I created the paste for the gold, and it has like a mustard feel, but also the batter, the the marinated part is almost like a jerk. So it's like you get the best of both worlds. And people that made the wings was like, yo, this is really good.
Nice.
So, but just so many things in that book. Like if you just open it up, you're gonna have a good time.
Nice. And the other thing is you feel with like everything that you do, you still feel a connection to you in the book as well. So it's kind of like, even though they weren't there for those lives, they're still there to have that type of conversation and communication. What are you looking to do to continue that? Are you going to go back to doing lives? Are you going to, is there going to be a book 2? Are we going to get like a recipe calendar? 365 days of deliciousness. I'm just saying.
Come on,
I'm just saying.
You're just giving them ideas, man. You're just giving them ideas.
I know, but Ray's like, so yeah, there's plans. So I still go live every Wednesday and Friday on TikTok. I go live like maybe 2 hours before your boo thing come home. You know what I'm saying? So I go live like around 5. Excuse me, and that's on Wednesdays, and then on Fridays I go live maybe around 1 or something like that, because I like to bake. Baking takes a long time,
right?
And so I do my meal type of stuff on Wednesday, and then I bake on Fridays. So that's on TikTok, and then I'm working on a second cookbook already, which will be released hopefully within 6 months, and it's called Fake. Can I kind of cuss on here? Not a real cuss, like an ASS.
You can say ASS.
I'll bleep it out.
You can
so
say
the name
ASS.
of the book is called Fake ASS Vegetarian, right? So I'm a fake ASS vegetarian,
right?
Which means I season my greens with pork, but then I won't eat the pork. I will still eat the greens. I sometimes use like imitation meat, so I'll use like Impossible meat for certain things because I still need that meat in my diet. And so that's why I call it fake ASS vegetarian.
Right.
And so it's super funny. It still has my language in it. It's showing all the recipes that I've done that's basically vegetarian. Right. That every now and then I may add some regular old butter and some regular old bacon grease to my cabbage, because you need that seasoning.
You need that extra seasoning. You need that extra deliciousness. I got you.
And then I have a novel that is coming out, a regular storyline, fictional cross-fiction, nonfiction book, which is called The Handshake, and that is written, it's just being edited right now. So I believe within like the next 2 to 3 months, it should be ready for production.
Okay.
So that's going to be the one that I'm going to be really excited to see what happens with that one. So those are my 2 bigger projects. I've over the time I've been able to finish 4 books. So I'm blessed to have these things in the queue. So the first one in the queue is called The Handshake, and that's the one that's coming out in a couple of months, hopefully. And then my cookbook, those are easy. Cookbooks were easy for me. Like it's just me cooking, taking pictures, and writing down recipes.
Now the Handshake, break down a little bit what's it about. Don't have to get any spoilers though. Just like a little something.
I won't. I'll give you a little something though.
Okay.
So the Handshake, I look at it as how would I say it? Because it's kind of juicy too. So it's like a warning / guidance for mothers and parents who raise their children in the church.
Yes.
And a lot of times the church is a safe haven, which it definitely is. I'm a pastor's kid, so I respect the church. But there are things that happen behind the scenes that some people aren't privy to. So the book takes a nice look and journey into the years of a young man who goes from 17 to 20.
Right.
And it talks about some of the behind the scenes of what a handshake can do to a person's life and how it can signal different things. And it talks about, parenthood at being young and what you would do to make sure you're successful.
That's awesome, man. And I love how, you're dealing with the church aspect of it. And for those who haven't really known, there's always been this underbelly of the church. Let's be real. Aretha Franklin, was the daughter of a preacher, got pregnant while on tour singing gospel music she was 14 years old.
Yes, sir.
So there's always been that other side of the handshake.
And we don't talk about it much.
No, we don't.
And I feel like it's important that we start to talk about it, because what I don't want to do is have people scared to be in church or to be in fellowship. But also be aware of what you're doing when you're leaving your child at rehearsal, or you're leaving your child late nights and getting a ride back from a certain somebody. Like, those kind of things matter. If you're going to be there, you should be there too.
Right.
Because predators are everywhere.
Yep.
Sadly. Oh my God. Back to the cooking.
Let's talk about you.
No. It was needed.
This episode is going to be just considered back to the cooking, because we're going to get really deep into some stuff, and then we're going to go talk back to that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, because I want to go further into it, because I don't have a kid, so I can't. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel parents should be talking about that. But
got it.
How much was grandma influence within this cookbook?
Oh, she's all over the place. I dedicate the book to my grandma.
Awesome.
And to my son, who is 17 years old. My grandma Levesine, she was like my real first person I seen cook and cook crazy, right? She'd be in there from the morning, and this is like Sunday, you know? So she'll put something on the stove overnight, and I don't know how they would do it. They'll like put the heat on like 100 and keep it on the stove, keep it in the oven all night until whatever, and then prep things before church, and then after church we're almost ready to eat.
Speaking of prepping on timing, let me just be on time. WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven. Myself, Preston, Easy Blues, with the one and only, can't be duplicated, Dr. Kreative. Go right ahead, sir. Hope I didn't lose that train of thought. You're very welcome.
You're so good. That's so good. So, you know, my grandmother was a cook in the family, and her desserts was so good. Her banana pudding was everything.
Nice.
And so I want to dedicate it to her. She actually raised me my younger years, because I was taken away from my mom when I was younger. And so I was raised by my grandmother. And then later on moved back with my mom. But those were informative years of my life. And she taught me music. She taught me how to be respectful, how important it is to present yourself right. And just watching her go to the beauty salon, watching her cook, these are all the things that I can do. I do hair now. I've been a licensed hairstylist since I was 18. And then moving on, you know, just her passion for cooking is why I want to dedicate to her. Yeah. She's everything.
Hold on one second. You've been a licensed hairstylist since 18. So when is the health and beauty book coming out?
Ooh, I don't know. So I had a really big passion back in the day for hair. That was my thing. I thought I was going to do that before I did anything else. But going to Berklee College of Music, it allotted a lot of opportunities for me. And I just fell into the musician life. So singing background, writing, composing, arranging, and things like that. Hair has always been a moneymaker for me. So when I was in college, my dorm was a salon. So on the weekends, I'm doing hair. And I was the only one on campus who was licensed. So come on to my room, get your hair done. Whenever I was down in the dumps and didn't have a job in between, hair was my fallback. And I think that's what I always looked at hair as being, because I'm really good at hair. I just decided to use it as something that, in the meantime, instead of doing other things that I could do, I'd rather do hair.
Word, yeah, no, it makes sense. No, it makes sense, but it seems it's such an interesting part of your story that one I didn't even know about until just right now. You know, and we do some heavy research, but it's such an interesting part of the story, and you know, I just see so much, because that field is blowing up and is always going to be a big blow up type of field and different stuff like that. And you know, getting involved in that and kind of where you can do the self-care aspect is so super important. So I just see that as an avenue for Dr. Kreative all day long. Is a self-care book, at least, if not a health and beauty book.
For sure. And I'm really into self-care, actually. That's something I do at least twice a week. Do things to take your mind off of all the things that's going on in your mind. I feel like as creators, a lot of us are undiagnosed ADD people who just your mind never stops. Like, you're just always thinking about what you can do. Sometimes if you're a real big creator, you really love what you're doing, you may sometimes wake up in the middle of the night thinking about how you could
Yeah.
have done this better or do this next. Or you're up at night just like, okay, yeah, I need to actually purchase this because this is going to help me do this better. And your mind just, it doesn't stop.
A million
And,
miles an hour. A
oh
million
my
miles a
God.
second. A million miles a second.
No, Preston, let me tell you, it's
Seriously.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's so bad. So
Yeah,
for
I
me, I
believe
have
that.
to take the time where I move my phone away from me, which is actually what was going on earlier. I just knew I needed the time to like, and when I got out of it, I'm like, oh my God, because I need to take moments to just put on something like I love affirmations. And affirmations is what keeps me. Because you may not always have your friends or your mom or your partner to tell you that you're going to make it, you're going to do great.
Yes.
But
Yes.
an affirmation
Yes.
and you saying it out loud,
Yes.
you don't need to depend on nobody else to know that you're going to be great,
Yes.
you're talented, you're going to make
Yes.
what you need to make.
Absolutely.
And so I have to do that sometimes. I do like 15 minutes a day.
Yeah, well, and again, that breaks that back down to the calendar idea that I was talking about before. Something as simple as, you know, the Dr. Creative calendar, where you have an aspirational, you know, saying on each day, you know, kind of thing that help you with the self-care and those different type of things. There's so many different avenues that you can go down.
Yeah.
I think is absolutely just amazing. I'm going to throw a bajillion ideas at you because I'm
You
an
always
idea
do. This is the second time. I'm like, I feel like I need to pay this man for counseling.
Hey, I'm around.
It's free
I'm
game.
around. I'm
It definitely
around.
is free game.
It
Well,
is, yeah, free. Well, you know, real recognizes real, so we want to make sure
Absolutely.
that you get all of the possible gain. But you're gnawing at the bit, man. I want you to go in. So I see you with the hand up and ready to dance.
It's just like he was just saying so many things that I was thinking. So it's a crazy concept. But I just want to know, you were talking about affirmations and stuff with your last answer. I just want to know what other ways, just as a creator, we can just mentally detox, because we need that. Because I'm trying to detox as well too with the phone, but at the end of the day, we need it for promotion, TikTok, Instagram, ways like that's the way how we survive creatively to get our stuff out there. But we can't be on the phone all the time. What are some ways can we just like go on it 3 times a day and just be it? Or, you know, like it's just everybody's different. That's the thing.
So it doesn't work like that. If you think about content creation, even if you have a full-time job and you're also creative, now even if you're a content creator, you have to set a time aside for it, as well as pre-plan. So for me, I do something on my TikTok called So Boom. I record 15 So Booms in one day. I change my clothes and go back to back to back to back to back to back.
Right.
I edit them as I go, but I put them in the queue so that I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I do to give me like whatever. I try to make sure that I take 2 days out the week that has nothing to do with me being crazy in my mind about creativity. And that means spending time with my partner, going hang out with a friend, going to a movie alone. I love going to movies alone.
Same.
Because then I can talk to the screen without nobody punching me in my stomach.
Oh God, I love it. You're speaking my language. Yes.
Okay. I love talking to a screen. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, that's the best part about going to movies. And then, or even if it's just taking a walk, or like I said, doing affirmations, that's how I go. I pre-plan everything that I do. And then I write out, I have like a board in my office and it says all the things that I have to achieve before the year is out. And I look at that and see how close I am to getting those things. And so, but for relaxation, it's good just to sometimes be in places that you're forced to take your phone away. So whether that's a massage, a facial, being in like a place that has really bad service. So Danbury has bad service. So if you go in the mountains, you're fine. Like you're going for a hike, that kind of stuff. Like, do anything that's going to help you unplug, because what's the reality we have to live in is that everything's technology now. Our phones are our wallet and it's our ID. And sooner or later, it will be our ID for real.
Facts.
So we have to know that it's power, and also it can make us powerless if we survive to it.
If we let it. Yeah. It's so true. It's so true, man. Like the phone is just the way of life now. You got all these apps. You got people are just so dependent on it when they don't believe that they're not dependent on it. So it's a double-edged spectrum. You know, I'm just learning as I get older when it just comes growing as a creator. But it just seems like you're just doing a lot of endeavors right now within 2025, and nobody and nothing is going to stop you, not even a certain person who just got elected.
No, hell, heck no, absolutely not. I think that we will come to the light. So I think there's going to be a revolution this year, and I think that people are going to really realize, like, oh, I need you.
Yeah,
I can't do this alone. I need a friend. I need somebody who has strength that I don't have. I'm not the best at reviewing a contract. Let me call Malachi. You know, it's going to be all of that's going to start happening, because back in the day, you used to see, even like in the music world, the bass player for James Brown may have gigged with Tina Turner.
Yeah,
it's called community.
Absolutely.
Everybody working together to reach a goal, and that's what made that music so lasting. I can't tell you what's on the radio right now. I love music, but I think that SZA is freaking Summer Walker. I don't know the difference between the voices. Things are not the same as it used to be. People don't have identity, and so because identity is there not no more, we need to start working together to create that identity. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about the new music because I can talk about that forever.
Oh, no, definitely.
Hold on, because I don't want to take you away from that aspect either. Because and it's funny because I'm going to draw it right back to the cookbook too. It's going to be great. Watch this.
I'm gonna wait for this full circle moment. Go ahead, Easy.
So what's super interesting is, you know, you're sitting there and we're talking about even the book itself, where it comes from, those recipes and, you know, those family aspects of it, and you have that time to get in there and get involved. But then we have social media that jumps involved here, and that has shrunken everyone's attention span to 15 seconds. You know, so they don't necessarily, you don't need to have a 3-minute song anymore. 3 minutes and 8 seconds doesn't matter anymore. If you have 15 seconds,
even the structure.
Yep. Even the structure, it's all thrown out the window.
You ain't got bridges no more.
But at the end of the day, that's the stuff that you can get at McDonald's. That's the stuff that you can get at Wendy's. That's the stuff that you can get at any other massive fast food restaurant for that type of aspect. Or you go home.
Yeah.
You take out your cookbook. You get to fully dive into an experience.
You better you wrapped that up real good.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good. I had that plan.
More.
That was yeah. I had it all planned out. It was gonna work the way it was gonna work out. But it is the reality of it all.
Yeah,
it is the reality of, you know, living in a world where everything is so super fast paced, where you do have to take the time to slow down. You know, like with myself, I try to find something really, 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 really ridiculous to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like completely absurd. I will go watch Monty Python all day long and laugh the entire time because they're being the thing. You know, I tell people all the time, as a musician, one of my biggest influences is the drag community. I mean, to be that free and that amazingly open is just so beautiful. And that we need to be that fearless as people that aren't dragging themselves up. You know, we need to be that fearless. And, you know, as creatives, we need to be that fearless. As humans, we need to be that fearless. So I'm loving every aspect of this. You know, that's just me. But we are talking about the music as well, and you are working with some incredible music artists.
Yeah.
In fact, not only that, but there's some people who can come and hang out with you next Sunday.
Yes.
Hang out with you next Sunday, if I believe, or this Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday.
Are you talking about the show?
The show, yeah.
I think you're talking about the show. I was trying to piece it together too.
Yeah, I want you to tell about the show.
To something. It sounded like it was like a drum roll, and you were like
about
to announce something because I was waiting for it too.
Yeah,
so, like I get it. I totally get it. Yeah.
Sunday in New York.
Yeah, like I thought you were just about to say something epic. Like I had that same thing too. Yeah.
So yes. For those of you who don't know, I am the CEO of Eastern Creative Agency, which is a creative platform that goes in different directions. So we have the studio, record label and production, in which we do like major productions, whether it's like a wedding, whatever the case is. We do a lot of setting up and lights and camera and action. But for what you're talking about, I manage two artists called Kasia Levon, who is an artist from Boston, a female R&B and soul artist. And then I also manage Connecticut's own Mouse Tripp, who is a neo soul artist here in Connecticut. So we've been pretty privileged to do a lot of stuff with the both of them. The both of them have singles out now on iTunes, as well as music videos that are out right now. So Miles' new single was Groove. And then you can look up Kasia Levon, Kasia Levon, on social media, and you'll find her all over the place. But the cool thing that we're doing right now, we did So Far in New York last month, and that was our first So Far show that we've ever done. For those of you who don't know, So Far is a community of artists that really value real music, real singing, real drumming, real, like, it's the live experience that you need that you kind of are lacking from today's music. And so we did our first show and we sold out. And that was truly cool for that to be our first show. We did a full production. They quickly emailed us about 2 days later with responses about how good the show was and how to get us on their special R&B So Far night on February the 14th, which is Valentine's Day in New York. So we are excited to do this show. We are putting together a new set list, a new look. I create a stage play and everything like that. So it's going to be a really big experience. And so, yeah, we're excited because this could be the opening of way more opportunities for your boy.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's all. But see, this is the thing: is you're so open to all these opportunities that come through, and you're so ready for this because you have that planned out aspect of it. And here's where I draw it again back to the book. Mm-hmm. You have a recipe in your office that you check on every single day to make sure you've finished this part of the recipe because it's what your 2025 is going to be. You Absolutely. Already have that recipe in your office, and you check it off daily to make sure you're putting everything in there. That's the whole time. So your life is kind of like a cookbook if you really look at it. Look at it, and you know when you're doing the social media different stuff like that, you do a lot of the pre-planning, which again, for people who are making sure that they want to eat healthy, making sure that you're doing a lot of meal prep is super important as well. I can draw so many parallels to this. It's just ridiculous. Like seriously, you just need to one of those self-care books about food, a little bit of music, a little bit of that, and a little bit of everything. A little bit of unicorn dust, and it'll be fantastic.
Okay,
I'm down.
In your opinion, as a culinarian, how does cooking better your mental health?
Okay, so just being honest, starting the journey of the cookbook, I was not in the best mental space, right?
Okay.
And I used to only cook for me and my son. So my son was the only one that knew I can really cook because in my family, I'm the guy who brings the Tupperware to all the events.
You're doing a service.
Okay.
You're doing a
Make
service.
sure you don't have nothing left at the house.
Absolutely. You're doing a service.
Oh, thank you very much.
Absolutely, sir.
Thank you. So, and so when I started the competition and building my platform on TikTok, I realized like it was my way of taking care of an emptiness. I, for quite some time, just felt alone, right? I felt a little down, not a little down, a lot of down. But I realized when I was online and started my cookbook, it was a way for me to just, one, remember my ancestors, remember my family, build new friendships, realize that there is nothing that I cannot do. It was a reminder for me, like, Mal, like you really be out here doing things and then executing things, and you don't give yourself the love that you deserve. Now, other people may tell me, and I always do deflect. And that's the goal of mine for 2025 is not to do that. It's just to say, thank you so much. thank you. You know what I'm saying? Because so many times I come from a place where it's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So being doing the cookbook, I had to remind myself, like, you got this. Like, you actually got talent. Like, did you see what you just made? This is me talking to myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so the cookbook mentally, it brought me back to knowing that I'm still Dr. Creative.
Right.
Nothing that life throws at me is ever going to get me down, because something that I have that a lot of people don't have is tenacity.
Mm-hmm.
I have a jump back, and I have to realize that that's a skill that is fading away as well, right? Being able to be resourceful, all these things that I used to think was like overdrive, and people will be like, "Oh, he's going to be on your case when we do a project." Da, 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 da. But that's the stuff that keeps me going. And
Right.
it was my reminder. It got me happy, put me in a place of smiling. I was laughing, I was joking, I was vibrant, and I, for so long, wasn't that way. I was starting to diminish my inner light, and that sometimes can be very scary for who's a creator, because when that light goes out, it's out.
Yeah. No, that's one of the key things, and as a creator, you know, we bring it again back to the church. I love how this all comes back to the thing, because you know we bring it back to the church. That this little light of mine,
And we're also
know?
going to bring it back to WNHHLP 103.5 FM New Haven, Preston, Easy Blues. Go ahead, Easy.
So smooth, so smooth. But this little light of mine, you know, I'm gonna let it shine. You know, this is a parable that has gone through church and those different aspects of it, but it's so true, and especially. Well, I'm just going to say it because there's already people going to be jumping in the comment section, so I might as well give them a reason to jump in there.
Right.
Especially if you feel like your light doesn't matter. I'm here to tell you your light does matter, and you need to have that shine as bright as humanly possible. And when there are other people that are around that are telling you that your light is not significant, come talk to me, because we will sit and we will have 1.5 million different conversations on how awesome your light really is and how great that truly is. Because what makes us individuals and makes us special is that light, and we need to continue to shine that light and continue to grow that light. I'm off my soapbox now.
I appreciate that. Sometimes you need to hear that, and it's good to hear from friends who you trust and not going to just BS you on things. So I appreciate that a lot. You know, been through a lot here in Connecticut, so you know, things just hit you differently.
There is a lot going on in Connecticut, and you are a man of many opportunities who gives opportunities to many people. But let's get the promotion going on. We're unfortunately facing on to the end of the show. Let's get the promo on, baby. What are some events going on in 2025 that are going to happen for Dr. Creative and Company? Go right ahead.
So, like I said, the biggest thing will be the fact that my book is out. So you can go on Amazon and purchase it. It's called Kreative Cookbook. That's with a K. So the word creative with a K. Cookbook, or you can put in Dr. Creative with a K, not a C, but a K. And go ahead on Amazon, put it in your cart, buy a couple. Go out there, talk to your community leaders, your libraries, your organizations, your churches. I am open to do all kinds of like cooking demonstrations, talking about how it is to be a Black author and the process of making a book and how to make it easy and the resources that I use to make it. I want to give it to other people because that costs money, but I want to give it away for free because knowledge is something you should always share. So if you have community leaders who want to just talk about the process or taste some of the food, hit me up on my inbox. You can go to Dr. Creative at easoncreativeagency.com. That's where you can email me. Once again, Dr. Creative at easoncreativeagency.com. For Miles' trip, we have so far happening on February the 14th. Please look on our bios. That's Miles Trip _trip, which is TRIPP. So Miles, MYLES _trip on all social media platforms, or go to Easton Creative Agency on all social media platforms, or Dr. Creative on all social media platforms, and figure out what we're doing next. And we have some festivals coming up and some other gigs coming that I will definitely give you complete concrete information once it arrives.
Two-part question. Last one.
Sure.
Will there be a cooking promo tour? And what are 3 things you're grateful for?
I actually would love to book a cooking promo cookbook tour. If y'all know how to do that, or if y'all want to help me out, resources, I'll put it in your hands. Y'all hear that, internet people on the radio? Easy, BlueZ. Okay. If y'all have some resources, some ideas, please put them through me, because this is a new genre of art that I'm tapping into. And yeah, so I would like to do one. That's why I gave my information for those who want to use me as a resource. The other part would be the three things that I'm grateful for. It's going to sound so churchy.
It's okay.
But life, health, and strength.
Mm-hmm.
I am lucky to still be alive, still be here, and even in the midst of the storm, I'm in a place that some people who are 6 feet under the ground are not.
Mm-hmm.
My health, I am healthy. All my elements work. Sometimes I realize I'm getting old by when I stand up and stuff like that. Other than that, I'm fine. And my strength, the strength, not physically talking about the body strength of my strength of like pressing on, moving forward, making things happening, and not letting things that try to knock me down get me down. So those are things I'm grateful for.
That's great. We want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. Again, you have an open invitation to come anytime you want to on Preston Easy Blues. We appreciate you, and hopefully we can meet soon in the future. This has been great.
Yes, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate this.
Thank you.
WNHH LP 103.5 FM New Haven, Preston Easy Blues, signing out. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you so much.
Wondering what to write about, trying to figure out what it's all about. Existentialist, am I worth anything or just a scout? I don't know.